Hey guys, TJ Hafer here for IGN with Dan DeChico, the developer for StarDrive
Hello.
2. How's it going, man?
This is going great. I'm excited to show you this game.
So we got Space Strategy 4X sequel. People may not know this. It's a sequel to StarDrive 1, if I understand correctly.
It was really hard to come up with this title.
Yeah. It was a lot of focus groups, I assume.
Yeah. We thought about calling it StarDrive 2 subtitle, but it didn't really focus out too well.
Gotcha. Why don't you just go ahead and take us into the game? Let's take a look at it.
All right, so we've got two modes here. You got a 4X campaign mode, and we got a battle arena mode that lets you just really get right into the battles if you don't want to earn it in the campaign mode. We'll do campaign mode first, and then come back to the battle arena.
Sweet.
So here, at the beginning of the game, you choose from one of 9 races, and they can get real wacky or real straightforward. So, there's humans, there's the samurai space bears.
Gotta
there's
love the
these
samurai space bears.
Cybernetic bug dudes.
Who I hate from the first game.
Yeah, they're meant to be a real pain.
Yeah, they demolished me so many times.
And, all the races have, unique traits. You can hover over them to see exactly what they are and what they do. And, of course, you can customize them using this, point system. You can buy and sell traits here, so you can really get a custom experience. And some of these are, you can decide, well, do I want to be fast breeders and farmers or whatever, but then you can start getting really off the wall, like being cybernetic, or you can have, all these, you can be a race that has this, sacrificial pit on each of your planets.
Nice.
You can, throw your citizens in there, so it can get kind of wacky. And
I see they're eco-friendly space samurai bears. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
So
good.
let's be the space bears. Why not? And we'll get cracking here. So we can also set up our galaxy, pick our opponent count, difficulty, how many systems and stuff we have. You can choose a few different galaxy shapes: spiral, random, clusters. I like spiral, and we'll get going. You're treated with a little bit of lore. The lore that sets up the game is all these races sort of discovered the StarDrive at the same time, and lets them move faster than light, and that's why they're all just coming into faster than light travel at the same time. And that's sort of one of the core mysteries of the game is why are they all all of a sudden starting to become FTL capable. So here we're met with this is our starting system. We have a little fleet. It's got a colony ship and exploration frigate, and then we've also got our home planet here. We can click on it to access the planet menu. If you're familiar with Master of Orion 2, which I know you are, TJ.
Yes, very much.
You can manipulate your civilians. You can assign them between farmers and workers and scientists. So it's a very similar system to how you allocated your resources in that game. And you can also have these multicultural civilizations. So you can have all different types of, and they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. So some races might be good farmers, some good workers or scientists. So there's an incentive to getting a multicultural planetary civilization. We can set up our build queue. At the beginning of the game, we don't have much to do. I'm going to build a freighter fleet, maybe try to queue up another colony ship and a combat ship.
Now I noticed this is turn-based, where the original one was real-time with pause. What led you to make that decision?
I think that there's without having the pressure of there's something always going on in a real-time game, you can sit down, make a few strategic decisions, because even this first turn of the game, we have to make a bunch of important decisions. First, we decide what we're going to build other home planet. We can zoom out and take a look at our galaxy around us. You can see that it's big. This big spiral galaxy. There's all these nebulas and stuff to explore, but mostly all these star systems, we don't know what's there. So just being able to kind of relax and make your decision and then commit it, I felt like that was a big change from the frenetic pace of a real-time game.
Gotcha.
So as we zoom out, we see this area. This is kind of the controlled area. It's my space. And I'm going to explore it a little bit. I'm going to split up my fleet. I got this exploration frigate, and I've got the colony ship. I'm going to send him down here. I'm almost ready to end my turn. One thing I should do is choose some research so we can access the research menu. And we've got 6 different tech trees, and they each go fairly deep. And you choose a tech from each level of the tree. So off-world industry, you have to choose an application between the automated rover bay and the xenomine. You choose one, and the other one is forever lost to you unless you engage in diplomacy or espionage to get it. So this is also something you might have seen from Master of Orion 2, that kind of exclusive tech choices. So you're making some tough decisions there. But there's always a way to get the stuff you don't have. And then when you finally decide that you're ready to commit your turns, in a lot of turn-based strategy games, you hit your turn button, and then it kind of crunches, and then like 10 seconds later, you're ready for your new turn. In this game, the whole universe takes its turn simultaneously. So, and you can just hold down the space bar to like start clicking away turns. So I've actually taken a few turns now.
Okay.
And so in that way, it almost kind of takes on a real-time quality, so that if you want to just click a few turns away and let your empire grow a little bit, it doesn't feel like a chore.
Interesting. So it's kind of like the inverse of a real-time with pause game. It's a game that's paused by default, and then you can sort of slide it along in almost real time.
Exactly. So what I want to show you is, like, I want to jump ahead in the game so that you can just kind of see, like, what the game setup is and how it progresses as far as, like, exploring and discovering what's out there and making some decisions. But let's go back to the battle arena, and we can have a look at how the combat plays out, because this is a huge and important part of the game. So what I'm going to do is show you we have a scenario editor, and then we have these kind of story-driven combat missions.
Okay.
So throughout the game, you'll meet heroes, and you'll meet a hero right now. So there's like this bad guy who is flying that fleet, and then you have like this commander, Alex, and they have their little interaction here. And now we can see the enemy fleet's disposition. So if in the 4X mode, as you meet enemies and go to war with them, you'll have very similar combat scenarios where the enemies bring a fleet to combat you. Except in this battle arena mode, you start off with some money and the ability to buy some ships. All right, so I can spend my money to like start setting up a fleet.
Okay.
But
so it's like Total War, where when you actually go into a battle, it's like an instanced real-time sort of thing.
Right. But in this mode, in the 4X mode, as you encounter an enemy, you only have the fleet that you brought.
Oh, okay.
But in the battle arena mode here, you can... man, iTunes needs to go on. You can go into this market and unlock new technologies directly. So in the 4X mode, you normally have to research them, but here you can actually spend money to just like get some new technologies. So I might unlock this fighter bay, right? And I can go back to my deploy menu, and I can now access the carrier that I have here. So I'll plop a couple of him down, and I can inspect these ships in the shipyard. All right. So you can see in the shipyard, you've got your ship model, and then there's like a module overlay that's projected on top of it. So here's an empty one.
Okay, cool.
And then you take the modules that you have unlocked, and you can place them onto your ship. All right. And this is like a laser cannon. You can see its arc of fire. You can see it's got all kinds of stats here about, its damage dissipation, how much power it takes, how much ammunition it needs to fire, whether it uses like ordnance or energy-based ammunition. And so it's a really kind of intense, in-depth mini game. And so this frigate here, it's an Aegis frigate, so it's meant to protect against enemy missiles. So it's got this ECM jammer. It's got a couple flat cannons that are really good at intercepting missiles. And then I've got this fighter, or this carrier that's got a few fighter bays, and that's really kind of a more offensive ship. And then I think I'm gonna also put down one of these big armored battleships. So it's like covered with armor, and it's got some missiles. And
has the ship design system changed a lot from the first game?
It's definitely changed. One of the big ways it's changed is that like I've divided the ship into let me clear that out, into quadrants.
Okay.
So and then like these quadrants sort of live and die on their own, and then a ship will die when the middle section is destroyed.
Gotcha.
So we'll see this in action here in just a minute. So I'm deploying my fleet, spending my money. I've got two of these Aegis frigates. I'm gonna get one more of those because I know that the bad guys have a great deal of missiles, and so we'll begin the battle. And you can see these guys are just like starting to like lob in big volleys of missiles while my guys are just waiting for some orders. They'll fire back. So what I'm going to do is grab these carriers, and I launch the fighters out and let them get out there. And so these missile frigates have kind of stopped in the back, and they're just going to lob death in on me until I do something about it, while their kind of attack frigates get closer. So what I want to do, I think, is I want to try to get a flanking maneuver and grab all my fighters. Turn off the damage overlays. All right. Now I can pause the game at any time here to like take stock. One thing I can do is I can go in, I can hold the tab key, and I can look at the module overlay for any ship and see like what's going on exactly. So in this ship, you can see all this armor, and it's just starting to take a little bit of damage on the front of its armor. And as the ship takes more damage, you'll get real-time updates, so you can see exactly how your ship design is faring. I'm gonna send these fighters around in a flanking maneuver. These guys are getting pretty destroyed by my frigates here. You can see this guy's like, you can pause and have a look at his module overlay. It's super destroyed, so he's going to blow up anytime now. Once the ship kind of focuses him, try to like get them to focus.
Can you focus on specific quadrants of an enemy ship if you want to take out like their thrusters or their weapons or something?
Totally, but it's a matter of getting in position.
Okay,
so if you fire from behind, you'll take out the rear.
Okay, gotcha.
So these guys, yeah, they should be able to handle themselves. I'm gonna send these fighters in to try to take out the missile cruisers. You can see that they have some heavy shielding, so it'll take a while to work through them.
Do you have a personal like favorite ship design you've created?
Yeah, there's a couple I really like. Actually, I really like this Aegis frigate, the one that I'm using, because missiles are, they're really a big threat in the game, and so your point defenses are super important. I really like this concept of having like a big wall of flak, that protects you against missiles.
Nice.
So you can see this guy is taking some damage. Yes. And the Aegis frigate also has some ECM jammers. You can see some of these missiles are getting jammed and just like flying off into nowhere because like their electronic countermeasures are going to work. So this is pretty representative of a battle you'll get in like the campaign mode.
Cool.
And I'm gonna just.
How large can the fleets get in campaign?
They can get much larger than this. There's no real limit. There's like an economic limit on sort of the size of your fleets, but it's just based on how big your economy is.
Okay.
So you can keep building, and the engine can handle it. So I'm just gonna use a debug command to. Oh no, they'll finish him. And then
yeah, looks like they don't have much left to stand on at this point.
No, you can see their module overlay getting chunked. Now he's gone.
Excellent.
So then at the end of the mission, one thing that all your units in the 4X mode are totally persistent. So you can get this like story to continue though in the battle arena mode. So
okay.
So then this scenario that we've played is just the first of a series of missions, and we'll take our fleet as it is now, whether we like won or lost ships, and we'll get a little more money. So you can see like here's our after action report. Some ships have gained experience. They can gain like medals. And we've got a little bit of money we earned. And now there's a whole new scenario that we jump into.
Excellent.
So you can see that they have like a much bigger fleet, and now this scenario we need to protect this this space station. So basically the game is exploring the galaxy and finding the aliens out there to meet. So I've just used a couple debug commands to like unlock the galaxy, so we can meet a race and see how the diplomacy goes. So why don't we just say hello to the Volfar Imperium. It's similar to the first presentation, the presentation of the first game, in that we kind of see them on screen, and then we get into this discussion mode. And here, I've really tried to make a deterministic system. So like, why do they like me or not like me? You can see their approval rating and everything that affects it. And then let's see, I'll add like trade rights. Now, when I add trade rights, you can see on my side and on their side, there's a value. And basically, to make a deal, you need to just have the value match up. But there's also this mechanic of tolerance. Like, as you make a deal with each race, your tolerance and their tolerance will be kind of used up for each other. This is to prevent abuse, but it's also like realistic. Like, you don't want to jump in bed with them right away. And like, depending on, it determines the size of the deal that you can make.
Okay.
Right, because each thing that you offer or that you demand has a tolerance impact. So if I keep trying to like demand things from them, I want tribute or I want a non-aggression pact, all of a sudden it's like over their tolerance for making a deal, and they're just going to tell me like, no, that's like, there's no way I'm going to do that. Races also have all these personality traits that affect how they'll behave in diplomacy. So they're expansionists. These guys, they're going to value colonies like more. They'll pay you more for colonies, and they're also militarists. It means they want military technology, and being evil, they're going to be pretty aggressive in the game. So this forms the basis of the diplomacy system. I think it really actually works very well because it's predictable. in like Civilization, sometimes I'd like make a diplomacy offer and then I'd send it off. They're like, no, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
So this, I really wanted it to be a transparent system, and I think that works out pretty well. There's also in this game we've got ground combat that that we have to play the game through like to see it further, but it's 3D like XCOM style ground combat.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can actually show you a little bit of a level without playing it. We can go back to the main menu here. I'm gonna just load up one of the levels. Just to give you I think this is like a research lab raid that you can perform. I don't actually have any friendly units. I just have this level you can load up, and this is on like the low graphical quality settings. So, but you can see that there's like basically there's like this is a mission where you get an opportunity to raid an enemy lab, to steal some technology, and so all the units have these unit cards and that have different skills, and they have different movements and action points. So it plays kind of like fantasy science fiction chess, and you get to build your own armies up and customize those units. So hopefully when you get your hands on the game, you can play that and see how it goes.
Is it mostly like a mission style or a mission scale, sort of like XCOM, or do you have like big battles with ground armies, versus other armies?
Yeah, it's more like XCOM style, like mission scale, but it's meant sort of as an abstraction of So when you would do a planetary invasion, you're going to have a battle kind of like this, where you bring your army and there's like a set piece that you got to play through to like capture the planet. Cool. So yeah, I think that basically covers the bases on StarDrive 2. You have any questions about what you saw?
Looks pretty cool. Thanks for coming in and showing it to us.
Yeah. All right, man.
And for more on StarDrive 2, keep it on IGN.